Hello everyone. I hopefully am going to be able to give you some information that will help you with your Italian indexing. So if you're indexing Italian records, hopefully the things I share with you today will help you. They are definitely doable even if you don't speak any Italian or anything like unto Italian. You do not need to speak Italian. It's definitely not a requirement to be able to index these records, and I'm going to show you how right now. So the first thing that you'll need to do is download a batch. And the batches that you can do without being able to speak Italian are batches that are post 1875. So when you go up here, you can see tons of Italian records, and you only want to deal in those that are post 1875. Now the reason for that is because after 1875, the birth records that Italian birth records that were kept were standardized, and they were shown on and they were using a partially typewritten form, which is why you will not need to know Italian to do that, because I'm also going to show you a guide that is going to walk you through one of these forms. So I'm going to download one of these batches that is post 1875, and we'll work through one record together. And I just want to walk you through it. And while that's downloading, let me show you um, the guide that I'm talking about. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is come to indexing.familysearch.org. Okay, so go to indexing.familysearch.org to get this guide. The next thing that you're going to do is, let me click that out. Next thing you're going to want to do is go to this Help tab. Do not just go to familysearch.org. I don't know how to get to this page from there, but if you go to indexing.familysearch.org, it will bring you to that indexing tab. Click on the Help tab, and then once you get here, scroll down to the Language Resources section, go over to Italian, and click the Italian Indexing Guide. And what this will do is it will start a download. You can just click Keep or Start or whatever your browser says to do. I'm going to discard it because I've already got it on my computer, but it will download it. It's about a little over a megabyte, in maybe about a megabyte and a half. It's not very big. Anyway, when you download it, it will open up and it will look like this. It's just a PDF file, and you can see it says Italian Indexing Guide Births Post 1875, and it's very simple to follow along, and I would actually highly recommend you print this off. It's 4 pages long, and what it does is this first page, it actually shows you exactly everything that you need to see and know to index. Now you can see it is these typewritten indexing records. Do not get the ones that, this will not work with those that are handwritten. So previous to 1875 they were all handwritten. This will not work with, well, it might work with them, but it will be significantly harder. So get those post 1875 records. See, here's the one that I just downloaded. So it's post 1875, so it has these, some fields are typewritten. This is the form they were using to keep track of births, to record births. So you're going to want these to be able to use this guide to walk you through it. And you'll notice here it has it has numbered every single thing that you're going to need to index as part of the record. So first is the record number, second is the birth date, third is the child's given name and surname, which are right here. The birth date is right here in these pink boxes. The fourth is the gender, which is going to always be down here. The fifth is the father's given name and surname, which is always right here. And the sixth is the mother's given name and surname, which is right here in these green boxes. All these other boxes up here are just to help you navigate the record. The registration date is something that you'll need to pay attention to, because and don't get this confused when you go to index the birth date. They are not the same, or they're not always the same. They might be the same in some circumstances, but they're not always the same. So don't let that confuse you. Now, let's go back over to the record. So the first thing you want to do as soon as you download this is go through and make sure that every record is good and legible and able to be indexed. And so what you'll want to do is just, as it says over here in the field help and instructions, and is select normal if it's able to be indexed. And something else that you can do, if you ever get stuck on these, just look in the field help. It will, and they usually have this, click here to see an example, and it will take you to an example of what they want. Another thing that you can look for is the project instructions. I'm not going to go through them, but that will also help provide some information that you'll need if you get stuck. This guide, though, if you print it off, it really will be a help to you big time. So I'm just going to go through and select normal for all these records. And they do look pretty good to index. Oh, that's interesting. See, look, here's a handwritten record. We may not be able to do those. That's very interesting. I wonder why that one is handwritten. Anyway, I'll have to figure that out later. But let's go back just for illustration's sake and go to this first one. Okay, as you do this, as you do the Italian records, you'll notice that on this page there are actually two records that need to be indexed. You see there's this, see how it says numero? That is this record number that the guide is showing. And there's always going to be a record number, and that's one of the things you do need to index. So on this first image, I need to add a record, add another line, because there are two records for this image. So you just select the image that you need to add a new record for, come up here to this middle green box, and click add a and it says add a record for this image. Click that, and it will automatically add a record for that image. So now there are two records for this image. And you're going to notice that on every other image. So on this next image, there's only going to be one record, because that's just the way these forms worked out for these records. But on record, or on image number 3, there are going to be two again. So record 4 and number 5, so I'm going to have to add another record there. Number 4, there should only be one. Yep. Number 6. Number 5, there should be two. Yep, 7 and 8. So I'm going to have to add another record there. So you're going to have to do this on every Italian record that you do. And number 9, good. See, this looks like it's from a different batch. So I might just have to index all that I can and then send it back. But anyway, for illustration's sake, let's go back to record number 1. So pull out your guide, and we go to the first record. And you want to index the record number. That's the first thing you need to index. And this one is very simple. It's just right up here, numero 1. So I just type in a 1 there, and then we go on to the birth year. For the birth year, this guide actually just shows you the birth date, and it shows you the spots to find the day and the month. The birth year is going to be the registration year. So this 1800. Well, let's go back to the record. 1890. Okay, so that's what this year is. So we need to go back to the guide. 1800 means 1800, and I'm on page 2 of the guide now, underneath dates. That's where you're going to find that. The year 1800, that's what that means. 1800 cento is 800. Okay, and then noventa, if you go down to page 3, it will tell us what noventa means. Or novanta. Novanta, right? Yeah, novanta. That's 90. So this all translated together is 1890. So that's going to go on the birth year. The birthday, as you can see on the guide, and here's where this guide comes in super handy. You just need to start looking for these phrases here. So to find the birthday, go to del D. So we go over here, find del D, it's right here. And then this is where you're going to need to practice looking back and forth at the guide and also at the words. So let's go and try and find this day. So Benti, let's see, let's go down to the numbers. So it's going to be 22, I believe. So it's, you see right here, it's Benti do. So Benti do, and that one's pretty easy. It's not always that easy, but this one is 22, so that's the birthday. The birth month comes right after del corrente. Now corrente, it actually tells you in the guide on page 2 that corrente means current, or the current month that they're using for the registration date, which is February. And you can find out, so it says febrero right there, or febrero, I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's February, and you can go down into the months. Febbraio, there we go, Febbraio, I don't know. Anyway, it's February. So for the birth month, all you need is the first 3 letters of the month. And the months do not follow the same as the English months, but it won't let you get it wrong. Okay, so if you try and, like for instance, June is not a month. So for June, I'm typing J right now, but it's not bringing up anything because June, the way that we spell it is not the way that they spell it. They spell it with a G. We spell it with a J, but it wouldn't let me do that. So you can't mess it up. Okay. Um, for the child's given name, let's go back to our guide and go back up to the first page where it shows an example. The child's given name is going to be here and the surname is going to be there. Sometimes these are mixed up, and I'll show you a way that you can tell the difference. So to be able to tell if it's the given name or the surname, you need to go and find the father's name. So the father's name is always going to be, let's go back to our guide, is always going to be after this e comparso. Okay, e comparso. You, you can see that right there. The father's given name and surname is after e comparso. So go back over here, find e comparso right there, e comparso, and looks like I would imagine that that is the surname. Let's see what the guide says. Yeah, the surname will come first, it looks like. So, her given name looks like it's going to be Eliza. And something else that you can use as well, I don't know if you use this or not, but you can use the lookup. The way that I got this up is by pressing Control F on a PC. I believe it's the same thing on a Mac. I've used this on a Mac before, and I believe it's Control F. You might have to hit Function Control F, or maybe it's Command F, one of the two. But that will also bring up the lookup, or you can just right click here and press lookup if you want to make sure you're getting these names as close as possible. So let's look it up. E-L-I-Z, Eliza is what it looks like to me. Some have Bata, Elizabata, but I'm going to go with Elizabeta. And that looks like a middle name, so I'm going to keep it in the given names box. It looks like a B to me. Oh, to find I'm going to bar. It almost looks like Barbara. Huh, yep, okay, so that's one in there. So it's going to be Elizabeta Barbara. Maybe Barbare. I don't know. Part of doing the indexing for Italian records is learning how to recognize the letters, and that's something I'm still learning, but arbitrators can help you figure out what they mean, and as they index them, they might come back with different interpretations of those letters. So just keep that in mind. Something for you to learn from is to review your indexing records that are arbitrated. So the surname is this one right here, and it looks like it's a P-R-E-T-A-L-L-I. That's what it looks like to me. It doesn't have it in here. I'm going to go with it anyway because it looks like, even though they don't have the actual name in the lookup, doesn't mean I'm not right. That's what it, if it looks that way and it's not in the record or not in the lookup, then I would go with what you're seeing. Okay, it's going to turn red, but it still looks right to me. Now the next thing is the gender. That's going to be right here in this purple box, number 4. The gender right here, it's either male or female. You can find it right here after dissesso. Dissesso, you see right there, dissesso. So look for dissesso. So the first we looked for was del D, which was the birthday and the birth month. Look for the child's given name and surname. Now dissesso is the gender. It's female. The father's name is going to come after e comparso. And since I'm running out of time here, this has already gone a long time. Go to to find the father's name, you go after e comparso. It's right there. And to find the mother's name, it's after this da, right here in the middle. And these all correspond right here. And like I said, in order to do this, download the batches that are post 1875 and use this indexing guide. It really is a huge help. I hope that and you can find that at indexing.familysearch.org. I'll include a link to it in the comments below. and I wish you best of luck on indexing these Italian records.